And we what's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. Today is just me and my man Jim. We're in here great, put on another great show for everybody. So Jim, you said your week was pretty busy.
Yeah. I mean, I had Monday off because of the holiday, but yeah, it was
okay.
had a lot of work stuff to get done, and yeah, it was
a
bit busy week.
Yeah, I took
and a lot of basketball to watch.
I know, man, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, I took off Monday too, man. But I don't know. And then once I take a day or two off, man, it's just hard to get back in the swing of things. You know, you gotta catch your rhythm all over again. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully this week I'll be a little bit more productive than I was last week. You know. Yeah. But yeah, man. So look, I saw this post. And the post said that Caitlin Clark is the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, right? And so now I'm not going to debate that or say whether she is or whether she not. You know, to me it don't. I'm just for the sake of argument. Let's just say that she is. If she is if she's Jordan, then would you consider what's the other young lady, A'ja Wilson? Would you consider her to be like Akeem Olajuwon of the WNBA?
Ooh, that's an interesting comparison. Yeah. I see how. Yeah, I can line that up. I mean, so if we're talking about Caitlin and Jordan, it's definitely the first two seasons of Caitlin and the first couple of seasons of Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense in terms of hype and in terms of, hey, how do we turn this team around, right? So I see that trajectory. But yeah, no, I like the comparison with Olajuwon.
Yeah. And with Caitlin, yeah, I agree with you. Like when you look at like Caitlin's first season and like how some of the players are like challenging her and going at her. And then so Michael Jordan had the same kind of issues when he was coming in. You know, people didn't immediately take to him and want to and rightfully so, like want to concede, and from a competitive standpoint, that's what you want from the other people that's in the league,
Make
so it's the same.
Make improve their hype, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then when you look at A'ja Wilson and her career, I think let me look. I think A'ja Wilson right now, she off to a really good start too. She's averaging something like 22 points a game. Let me get her stat.
They're undefeated, aren't they?
I think they are. I'm gonna look up the first. Let me see.
They're 3-2. They're 3-2.
Yeah. So she's averaging 23 points, 12 rebounds. Let me see. She got like 4 assists a game. So she putting the numbers up there, and yeah, you're right. They 3-2. So yeah, I can see. And some people say that A'ja Wilson should be like the league MVP, or should be because they think she's the best player in the WNBA. But somebody said also that, and I kind of agree with them. Like it's kind of harder to make a low post player, the face of the NBA, or the WNBA, or face of the league, because they're not as appealing as somebody who is, or relatable, I would guess, as somebody who's like a smaller player or a guard or something like that.
Right. Yeah, she's not as flashy as I mean, she's obviously a great player, and she puts up good numbers on both ends of the court, and that's and obviously that's why she's a two-time MVP.
Yeah, two-time MVP, two-time champion.
Yeah,
two-time champion, two-time MVP of the league. And Yeah, so and that's what I kind of thought. I was like, when I think about her, I think about the career that Hakeem Olajuwon had, like was so dominant in the low post, dominate the other bigs around the league.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Asia Wilson do. She dominate, not just the bigs, but anybody in that that she go up against, she just dominate. And so yeah, man, I just think that now Caitlin Clark, they say she's gonna miss 4 games, so I'm thinking she coming back after that Chicago Sky game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I heard that too. About 4 games was the.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how Mike was too. Mike had a few Mike broke his foot, like, was it the first year or the second year he was in the league?
Something like that. Yeah.
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 Early in the league. But yeah, I was just thinking that those two parallels between Mike and and I think that they'll have, like, that will be more so of a rivalry between the Aces and the the Sky, because the Sky is like a rebuilding team. So you really can't you can't really put Chicago in there with Indiana. So that's not going to work because they on a rebuild. Let me see. Let me go for the WNBA stats because I think that Asia Wilson team, I don't know what place they in.
They're in they're third behind the Lynx and the Mercury, which I think the Lynx and in the West and the Liberty in the East both being undefeated. They're coming out of the gate hot, and that's going to be interesting to see how the top tier from last year is definitely proven themselves to be the top tier of the league at the beginning, and so the Sky and the Fever, the Sky's 1-4 and the Fever are 2-4, and I know a lot of people are going to be thinking the Fever are underperforming at this point in the year. The expectations was a lot higher.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Sky are definitely probably where people think they were going to be.
Yeah.
So, the Aces, they lost a few key players, so they're third in the West, but overall they're fifth in the league. So they're kind of more in the middle of the pack right now, where last year that kind of feels like that's a slow start for them from last year.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I keep my standards, my stats are kind of off. Now, what do you think about like the ratings though falling because Caitlin Clark is not in there? So it's a real thing. You know what I mean? So like when Caitlin Clark is not playing, and then you see that when she's not playing, then you see that everything falls you know what I mean, automatically.
Yeah. I mean, I think they need something other than Caitlin for sure. And I think you going back to the comparison of Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why was the increase in popularity around Jordan? It was not just his ability and his gameplay and the human highlight reel, but they developed some good rivalries, right? And that's kind of going back to your question about rivalries. Yeah, that's what the league needs. The league needs some rivalries, some compelling rivalries, right? And so I think people are getting a little. The Angel Caitlin rivalry was good as they both stepped into the league. It feels a little stale right now. They need some new narratives, and I don't know what those new narratives are going to be.
Yeah, that's when you see, like, once Caitlin Clark get hurt, and then you see like everything just go down the drain like that. Like if I'm the WNBA, like that would concern me, because like you got, you have some good teams in the league. You got the New York Liberty, New York is undefeated. They 6-0.
Yeah, and so is Minnesota.
Yeah, and so Sabrina Ionescu, what's the Breonna Stewart, they doing their thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean so the WNBA gotta find a way to promote the league, and make, like help to grow the league with in a situation like this without, if Caitlin Clark had to miss some time, you don't want everything to fall on Caitlin Clark.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And they capitalized, or at least they tried to capitalize on the hype of her coming out when she came out, and all the accolades and all the things that she accomplished in college. Man, they just we didn't give them high marks on capitalizing on that last year, but they tried. This year, man, I don't know what they're doing. They don't have another avenue to kind of come up with, hey, how do we create that same kind of feel or that same kind of interest around other players, right? And it's as man would always say, it's got to be organic. You can't manufacture it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some good play going on. Ghost is talking about Jacquel Jones and Tasha Cloud. Man, that defense that Tasha Cloud put on Caitlin at the end of that Liberty Fever game, that was great. I mean, that's the kind of play that if you're new to the WNBA, that's the kind of play that, man, these women are bringing some good basketball product, and so the WNBA has to be able to figure out how to capitalize on the new eyeballs.
Yeah.
Because you can't put it all on Caitlin.
No, you can't. You got to have other attractions in the WNBA besides Caitlin Clark.
And they do have other attractions, right? It's just how do they convert those things and be able to get people to see and hype those things up, right? Because that was high level defense by Cloud on Caitlin, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now so Dan says I always compared Asia to Tim Duncan, who won 2 MVPs but wasn't much to watch. Must watch TV. His game was very effective, but not fun to watch, even if the best players at the time. So that bring up a good point though, right? I think Asia Wilson is not always must watch TV unless you are like a diehard basketball fan. Then you know what I mean. You can get into like her footwork and her low post game and her mid range game. You know what I mean. That kind of stuff would stand out to So maybe that is why like the WNBA is kind of like leaning into like the drama that surrounds Caitlin Clark too, because Asia Wilson was in the league before Caitlin Clark, and that wasn't enough to draw, to draw more fans.
I mean, you're just not going to get the same level of athleticism comparing women to men, right? So you're not going to see as flashy. The players are not going to come off as flashy as the men's game when they're performing individual athletic things. But when you compare apples to apples, I mean, I think there's a lot to watch in the game that if you're a basketball fan, you're gonna appreciate. But that's definitely the struggle. There's the man.
What's up, Clayton?
What's up, fellas?
And
yeah, I just don't know that it's fair to compare the women's athleticism to the men's athleticism.
Right.
And so if folks are watching the game and expecting it to be as flashy as what some of the guys can do, I think there's some danger in trying to hype it up and market it that way. But that's still the flip side of that is the WNBA's got a challenge then. How do you convert the new eyeballs to this brand of basketball, which is good basketball?
Yeah. So look, Clayton, we discussing, right? I saw a post and somebody said that Caitlin Clark is the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. And so I said, if Caitlin Clark is the Jordan of the WNBA, then Asia Wilson is the Hakeem Olajuwon of the WNBA. And my reasoning for saying that is because Hakeem was dominant, but Hakeem did not draw the kind of attention to the game that Michael did. You know what I mean? Although they played in the same era, their eras overlap. Yeah. But he didn't have that as you like to say, he didn't captivate the audience like Mike did or like Caitlin did for the WNBA. So what do you think about that comparison?
No, I mean that's a good analogy. I mean, because she has all the footwork, all the moves. She plays extremely dominant in the post. You know, she's top notch. That's a great analogy. You know, and that's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's hard for bigs to capture the people's imagination and stuff. It's just so hard because you know, people want to live vicariously through certain things. And, you know, when you can relate to a person, their size and stuff like that, or like little girls, they love the way Caitlin looks because she looks like one of them and stuff like that. That's captivating for people. So I agree with that. That's a good comparison. I wouldn't say Caitlin is Jordan in terms of like ability or nothing, but
no, right. Yeah.
But as far as bringing the eyes and the audience and stuff like that,
and the excitement that surround Caitlin and stuff like that, you know, I think that, you know, like you can compare them in that aspect.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, but let me ask y'all, right? How do y'all think? Like, what do y'all think about like the fall off since Caitlin Clark has been like? Is that a bad sign? Like the fall off, like since Caitlin is not in the league? I mean, you know, since she out for a couple days.
I don't personally think it's bad because I really don't see too many things being bad. I think it's a message being sent to the W because if you've watched, I've watched these early games. And like I told you guys, when they beat Chicago, I wasn't impressed with that win because they really wasn't playing good basketball. And another thing that's not allowing them to play good basketball is the way they're allowing teams to press them and be physical and all that. And it's making it choppy. So the games, so what everybody came to love about the Fever was the fast pace. The league is allowing players to really grab her, hold her, impede her movement when they came up with a new rule talking about freedom of movement.
Right.
But it doesn't apply when it comes to her. So now you understand. So now they chopping it looks real choppy and stuff. So with her being out and this fall off, maybe that, you know, they will come to the awareness that, you know, just like in the NBA, you know, they wasn't going to allow you to do too much shit to Michael.
That's true.
Because, you know, this is our meal ticket and this is what people come to watch. So I think it's a good time for the WNBA to really pay attention to what's happening. I'm not even sure if her diagnosis is really that serious, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a thing where the fever holding her out just for that very reason. Because I heard the coach complaining about the referees after the New York Liberty game. Right. She was complaining about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that wouldn't be a power move on them. And then the W2, they got to let more free flow. I like the idea of freedom of movement. Let it be more free flow. Because in a women's game, as much as purists like the physicality, you really need to see the ball movement. Yes. You need to see the game flowing free and fast because they don't have the athleticism.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
100%.
And so this one of our people in the chat said that Bluter said that CC was also like Mike in that she has high standards and can be polarizing because of that, right? And so I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody who has high standards and can be polarizing because of that, you know, like that creates sometimes like some of your players, some people don't like that because they are not at that level as far as commitment. As you know what I mean? Like when you watch her workout tapes and stuff like that, she be getting it in, you know, and everybody don't have that level of commitment as somebody like Caitlin Clark.
Well, ask that person in the chat. Do they believe she's polarizing because of a high standard, or is she polarizing in the social media world because of her, you know, her ethnic background and all these other things that's coming out and coming into play when she play? I think that's what's making her polarizing, because she's straight and she's a female and she's white and she's getting all this superstardom. To me, I don't even know if because it seems like the players love her, but it just seems like the fans are more making it more. It's more like a social media polarization than it is really in the league, in my opinion. Now, you do have a few players that seem to come at her hard and resent her superstardom, but I don't think it's because of the high standards she set. I just think it's because of her fame, so to speak.
Yeah.
Did that make sense? Like,
I can get that. I can get that, you know, but also like to refer back to the Magic and Bird days. You know, you had two different fan bases that were you know, that you know, they were polar opposites. So, but you know, that really didn't play into like what Magic and Bird did as far as like their commitment to the game. They, you know, they stayed true to the game. Both of those guys. Magic and Bird stayed true to the game. They was dedicated to the game, and they stayed away from like that, you know, those fan bases, and you know, they just kind of stayed out of that stuff.
And I think she does a great job of doing that as well, because she don't really get caught up in it. And I think the league is trying to turn that page, but then that stuff just keeps flaring up, man. It's like, it's crazy, man. I mean,
well, that's why it's different than Magic and Bird, because back then you didn't have the accessibility of social media that we've got now, and it's easier to block out the noise of the fan base, whereas today social media is everything, right? And the fan bases are so vocal, and even the extreme voices have a channel to say what they're going to say, and of course that's going to inflame the other side as well.
So look, I like this statement about Ghost, right? So that Ghost just posted. Ghost said it's a good question. I've seen some fans that's persuasion, let me see, blacks to talk about Caitlin Clark's presence as gentrification. I think that's important, right? Because I don't really see Caitlin Clark, her presence, as gentrification.
No.
You know, the same way I don't see Shea Gilchrist, you know, he from Canada. I don't see his presence, you know, like, and we diehard basketball fans. So to me, like, diehard basketball fans really don't care where you come from. They just want to see a good game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So anybody who say, well, you know, that could be like, what's the guy name? Like the Joker. if the Joker play a good game, then I don't care, you know. But I don't speak for everybody though.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's something.
And I think, and sometimes we associate gentrification with whites moving into a black thing and changing.
Right.
But I'm gonna say that's not gentrification, because Breonna Stewart, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Sabrina Ionescu. Yeah. Like, you have all these great white players that came before Caitlin. You know what I'm saying? That's been superstar status and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say that, but I do understand the majority of the league is probably African American, but it's been so many great white, even the girl that just retired from the Mystics. Della Dantas or whatever her name is.
Della Don, yeah.
Della Don. Yeah. And you got so many great players around the league. Marina Johannes in New York and all these, you know, so yeah. But I understand, it was a good point she's making, but you know, and just like this, to bring this up, another thing, it's just crazy because, like I said, they keep bringing this stuff up, and it's in the league. To me, I don't like how the WNBA is leaning into all the politics and the bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't like how they lean into it. It's really a turnoff in a sense. It's like the other day she comes in Baltimore, she's carrying a little baby, mixed baby, and then online everybody's, you know, ripping her for that. Like, she just did that because you know, it's just great. I'm to be honest, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of it in a sense, and
yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And another, I'm getting tired of the officiating too. I mean, look, New York Liberty is a great team, but the other night, Breonna Stewart had 19 free throw attempts.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, Mike.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know New York is a great team. I like the addition. The girl, Cloud, right? She comes on. It's great, but it's like they good. You don't have to favor them too with the whistle. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you know? Yeah. So
Kelsar Link just said that the media won't let it die. That's what most casual fans and non-sports media gravitate to. So, I agree. Like, so you have on one hand where, like he said, like Kelsar said, casual fans gravitate to that, and then you kind of like diehard fans don't want to see it because they appreciate the game. But when you see Caitlin Clark miss time, and then, you know, they got it. It's almost like they're in the catch-22, because if they don't lean into that narrative a little bit, you know, then everything is going down.
Well, everything's going down because she's not on the floor. Even if they, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they have to lean into that narrative. I think they've leaned into it too much. It's extreme.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I think what you want to capitalize on is the product on the court, which is good. It's good. Don't try to leverage the off the court stuff as a way to garner views or whatever. Let the product be good. The product is really good.
Yeah.
It can be. I still think this choppy, murky, physical, I think it's making the game become too slow and less attractive. And like the guy said about the casual fan, to be honest, what the casual fan really fell in love with was the fast-paced nature. Well, I can't say all casual fans. I just know the people that came to love watching this girl Caitlin and Indy play, it was about that fast pace. Now, granted, and I'm gonna blame a little bit on their new coach. She's trying to change the identity of the team.
Yeah.
And to me, you got to build on what their skill set is, not try to take them and make them a defense, murky, grind, physical. That's not why people fell in love with their product.
Right.
They was up and down, push pace, push. Yeah, man.
I think Caitlin. I think they had the pieces to play like that. The Indiana Fever do, and I think Caitlin can play like that, though. You know what I mean, like a up and down pace.
Yeah, the coach not allowing it. But I'm gonna say this: but some of the new pieces they brought in can't run. DeWanna Bonner, she's washed up. She can't run like she used to. No.
I think you don't want Bonner running anyway, though. But you do need her like later on in the season, like when y'all making a playoff run, because that's when the game goes to like a half court game.
You know, but I'll say this: Sue Bird said they won their first title because they pushed pace. They wasn't as physical, but they ran. And the older vets, if you run, it gives you an advantage against the physicality. And also, Indiana got this young girl on their team, Timpson. That girl need to get some minutes.
Yeah.
You really need to start leaning into the youth. If you look at the youth around the WNBA, they having much success. Kiki, Herfin, Citron, some of these other girls, they're having great success because they faster, pushing pace. You know, this old way that the W was used to winning, I think it's a new day.
Yeah. I want to Ghost pushed back on you. Ghost said that Stewie earned those free throws. I wasn't going to say nothing, but I kind of agree that Stewie did earn those. You know what I mean? Like, she been in the league, she earned the right to get those. Some of those.
I mean, if she's getting fouled, but these fouls are ridiculous. Nobody's not even fouling her. Come on, man. I push back on both of y'all. I don't care how long she's been in the league. She ain't getting fouled.
I'm with you, Clayton. I have not been impressed with the officiating. No.
Yeah, well, I do think that they changed the rules for Mike. Like, you couldn't, like, once Detroit was beating Mike up, you know, that was turning off the fans. That got people pissed off and stuff like that. So, you know, and even Isaiah just recently said that, you know what I mean? He just recently brought that back up, that the NBA changed rules that suited Mike. You know, and so do y'all think that the WNBA gonna have to do that for Caitlin?
I think Clayton might be onto something in terms of the Fever sending a mild signal to the leagues. Like, you know, if this is the way you want to play it, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yes,
because I do see that. I do see that happening, right? So hey, look, as fans, all we want is for the rules and the officiating to kind of to be level. I get it. So some people have earned the right. They're gonna. Some of the top players are gonna get the calls. Calls, okay? And that's just the way it's been in every single league. But I think you got to play it fair. Across the board.
And it's like, if you guys aren't going to protect our star, we're going to protect her. We're going to keep her out.
And ratings are going to go down.
Well, you see, ratings have already gone down. You know what I mean? So since she's been out. But all right. So Kendall Marty says that Asia is a really, really good basketball player. She's not generational. I don't know. She's not like a generational type ball player. I don't know. I just appreciate like her work ethic and her dedication to the game. You know, and just her professionalism, like the way she approached the game. You know, she give 100% every time she out there. So,
well, it depends on how she defining generational. Because I think her talent is, but if you want to say generational is a person that come along and then they change generation of players coming behind them to want to be like them, maybe that's how she's defining it. You know, I don't know, but I think her talent is ridiculous.
And so Ghost says that Isaiah still salty. He didn't make that dream team. He got a legit beef. I just made a video about that. I'm telling you, every time Isaiah make a post, you know, I mean, it seems like once or twice a week, Isaiah saying something about Mike. That really hurt. That hurt Isaiah right there, man. I mean, he really won't let that go.
Yeah,
he won't let that go. You know,
that's one of those. As long as them guys still breathing, man. As long as he's still breathing, that's gonna be one of those things, man.
Yeah.
You
now,
know.
do y'all know how long Caitlin gonna be out though? I know she's gonna miss that Chicago game. They said.
Yeah, they said 2 weeks, but I'll be honest with you guys. If it's really a strain, because you know, in the preseason, supposedly she was dealing with a strain then too. So to me, if it's really a strain, I would keep her out. I would keep her out for a month. I wouldn't bring her back till like right before All-Star. I wouldn't rush her back.
Yeah.
Especially the way them girls are playing her. She's the only one in the league that gets guarded like she gets guarded. And I've watched a lot of games so far this year. Nobody's getting guarded like her. Nobody. Yeah, and that's respect to her. You know?
Yeah.
Nobody's getting guarded like that girl. Nobody.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't rush her back. I let her sit, rest, and totally heal. You know?
Yeah. Well, let me All right. So Lawrence Moore said that Cynthia is Jordan and Caitlin is Steph. Cynthia Cooper. You don't remember Cynthia Cooper?
I do remember her, but I can't.
The comments.
Well, he must mean skill wise because.
Yeah. Cynthia was that. Now Cynthia Cooper is my favorite all-time WNBA basketball player. Cynthia Cooper is. I mean, when she was with the Comets, those first 4 years, man, they won those WNBA championships, man. Cynthia Cooper she was tearing the league up.
She made the league.
Oh yeah, she was tearing the league up.
Yeah, them girls owe a lot to her. They owe a lot to her.
Cynthia Cooper was the truth.
Yes.
What? I just watched. I think it was 1983 or was it 93? Louisiana Tech versus USC. You had Cheryl Swoops, you had the McGee twins, and you had Cynthia Cooper on the same team. Then you had Louisiana, you had Kim Mulkey, and I forgot those other man. Man, those were some good games, man. Those were some good. That was a good game. That was a good game. Yeah, but let me see. Yeah. So Cynthia did win 4 straight rings when the first 4 rings, as a matter of fact, they was balling. Oh, was it Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops? What's the other girl? Tina Thompson. They was balling. So yeah.
LSU won that game, didn't they?
Louisiana Tech. Yeah.
Louisiana,
yeah. That was I just watched it though a couple days ago. I was like, what?
I don't think I've ever seen the game, but I've seen highlights.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey, man, was
she
was small point guard, and they had their uniforms was funny because they didn't have tank tops, they had on like polo shirts almost like the sleeves. I was like, I know they hot as them little girls going faint.
Yeah.
You know, back then it probably was a little risque to have them showing too much arm. I don't know.
Maybe that's how they was. Oh, so that was 83. All right. Yeah. Oh, so that was 83. Yeah, I know it couldn't have been the 90s. I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, but
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. And Go said, I bet Kim Mulkey tried to bedazzle that uniform. Yeah, she likes some bling. Kim Mulkey likes some bling.
Oh my goodness, don't she?
Yeah, she likes some bling, man.
She wants to be noticed.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, man. What y'all think about the other girl is having a good season too? What's the girl name? Fee.
Oh yeah, Fee.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my Minnesota team's undefeated.
Yeah.
So
but I'm gonna say this, Jim. They ain't played nobody yet either.
Man, I got to hold on to something after the performance that the T-Wolves gave me this week.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Yeah, so they
I hear you. Minnesota, good team, though. I expect them to be there, but I'm just saying right now they ain't played nobody yet, though. Some of the teams had to mix it up a little bit, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, with Fee on the team, though, man, I just think that really, to me, I think she do what she do no matter who she playing against. You know what I mean? So
sure,
you know.
Oh, I fell in love with her last year. That was my team last year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I watched them play and they playing the bottom dwellers right now. That's all.
Yeah.
But, it's not to take nothing away from Fee.
Yeah.
She is who she is, But she's another one. She's very attractive young lady. She can play the game real well, but Biggs, she's fundamentally sound, can do everything. But for whatever reason, the public just don't fall in love with that.
Well, like you said, it's like the smaller ball players, the guards are the ones who are the more relatable.
Yeah.
And so but Fee got her work ethic is Nafisa Kyle, her work ethic.
She can play. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She can play. My favorite player right now on New York is Jones.
Jonquel Jones.
Well, she the shit. I'm telling you.
She's not playing.
Huh?
Yeah, Jonquel Jones ain't playing with him.
She legit, man. She is legit. She don't, and what I love about her patience. She don't force the action.
No.
She let the game come to her. She take what they give her.
Yeah. And she's
telling you, man.
And she's fearless. She's fearless.
Yeah.
She's not afraid of the moment. She's not afraid of the opponent.
Yeah. But I'm interested, man, to see Minnesota mix it up a little bit. I like to see them in the Liberty play. Because that'll be a rematch of the finals.
Yeah.
And just see what happens. I told you guys, man, don't sleep on the Mystics. Remember I said that one podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Don't sleep on them. In Atlanta Dream, they really good with them bigs down there with Bree Jones and Brittany. Yeah, they tough. They tough. They tough. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you what else? Pow. Yeah. She's another young one coming in doing her thing, man. I just think Stephanie White is stuck. I don't mean to keep going back to Indiana, but I think Stephanie White is stuck on the old way of the W, thinking that this is how you win in the W, but it's a new day. I'm telling you, man. Yeah. It's a new day in the league.
Well, so you don't think that Stephanie White she's not coaching the same way as the young lady coach like Christy Sides did last year?
No, she's not coaching the same way as Christy Sides. Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. She's trying to implement a system, and she's saying this system will get us where we're trying to go. Mm-hmm. When a great coach comes in and they use and manipulate the skill set that they have and put the other team at a disadvantage based on that. Right, she's not doing that. Her whole mindset is defense, grind, murky, physical. That's how Connecticut played last year. Mm-hmm. Their games wasn't fun to watch. They just murked it up, low scoring, and they beat you. But this ain't Indiana.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And to me, Lexi Hall need to get more minutes. She didn't develop like a mother.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta be honest with you. I'm surprised about Lexi Hall. I didn't think that, like her game was going to translate as soon as it did. But
but she's been putting in the work. I mean, you saw all the off-season stuff that they've definitely she's been putting in the work. And I think Cece's work ethic and drive rubbed off on her.
Yeah. But they all, she keeps saying stuff like going in the season, we put so much emphasis on Caitlin saying this is the most talent you ever had. She keep trying to take the ball out of her hand and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just not what you do. You let that girl play make. Let her go. Just like our college coach said when they did the exhibition against Brazil. You have any advice for the coach? She's like, she don't need my advice, but the only thing I would tell her is just let her go.
Yeah.
Let her go.
Yeah.
You know, stop trying to make her, you know, what she ain't, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be, you know, that's my, you know, I fell in love with watching him. So I'm a little disappointed, and I'm like, man, I'm out on this because it's just slow. It's choppy, you know.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah,
know.
man.
I like I agree with Ghost though. I like the Liberty.
Yeah.
I just Sabrina Ionescu, Stewie, and then you got John Quell. I think all three of those, like the blend of all three of their games, just complement each other. So you got John Quell in that paint, and then you got Stewie who could play inside out, and then you got Sabrina Ionescu who can run a team and hit that three. Man,
I don't know if they win it again because they shouldn't have won it last year.
You don't think they should have won it last year?
You don't either. You saw the last game. They put Breonna Stewart. That was a bogus. You even called that.
All right, but I mean, I just thought that they was I thought they should have won. I just ain't like that call though.
I mean, but you watched the game. That game came down to that. Minnesota really should have won that game and been the WNBA champion.
I think me and Ghost disagree with that, Jack.
I mean, but you wasn't last year after the game.
I didn't like. To be honest, I didn't like that call though. You right. I ain't like that call, but you know, I just like that.
I still have PTSD from that.
Exactly. I thought Minnesota was the better team last year. They played better defense.
Yeah,
but you know, we'll see. And to be honest with you, New York shouldn't have beat Indy the other day. They put Sabrina on the line on a bogus. Lexi didn't foul her. She stood there like this. Sabrina initiate the contact. They put her on the free throw line. Yeah. So I mean, hey, we'll see. They're a great team. They don't need extra help.
Right. That's my point exactly. I don't think they need that extra help. I agree. I definitely agree.
They're a great team, but I don't know if they're gonna win it again.
It's gonna be tough because you got you got a few people out there that's on a mission.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be tough. I'm looking
don't sleep on Indiana getting better.
Oh, later. I think they'll do exactly what they did last year.
Yep.
Because they came out slow this year, and I was telling Mike before you jumped on, they're underperforming, especially after all the acquisitions. So we're gonna see them.
Because I liked how they played. I liked how they came back. At one point, they was up double digits on the Liberty going into the fourth. I like how they played them. I think they could really, really challenge that team.
Yeah, and they did that in the third quarter, coming from behind.
Yeah. So well, Clay, let me ask you this then: do you think that the way that the coach is coaching for Indiana, do you think she's coaching more so for them to like later in the season or that second half to get better?
I think what's going to happen is I think Caitlin, well, she may be doing that, but I don't see that. I don't really see that. I feel like she's stuck in her mind that the way they're going to win is holding teams under 20 every quarter.
Yeah.
That's not the personnel. But what I think will happen is eventually she's going to have to surrender. And what you're going to see, the same thing Christy Size did last year. After a while, Caitlin just going to be out there, if she comes back, playing free and just making everything happen for everybody. Because right now, you look at Kelsey Mitchell. Her numbers are down. Her shooting percentage and stuff like that, because Caitlin ain't, they not pushing that pace.
Yeah.
Aaliyah Boston, she started off great. Her and Caitlin got that. The best offensive set they got is that two-man pick and roll between Caitlin and Aaliyah. That's the best thing they got, and everything else works off of that.
Yeah.
Her numbers are down now that Caitlin's sitting on the bench. She hurt, but Aaliyah Boston, she's suffering. To me, I think they need to bring Lexi in, let her start, leave Tosh on the floor with her. I think they should get that young girl more involved, Timpson, and they just need to put that ball in Caitlin's hand and just let her create, just like Christy did. And I think eventually, Butch gonna have to do that. Stephanie White's gonna have to do that because her message is getting stale real quick.
Yeah, but do you think she's gonna have Caitlin when she come back be more off ball too than she is? That's a lot.
She's doing that now. That's not working.
Yeah. Is she more off ball than point, you think?
Yeah. They're trying to do that now, and it's not working. She still got the ball in her hand, but they got her off ball more than she's been. It's not working. That's why that flow looks so choppy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I just don't. I like Caitlin more off ball because that's just a lot of work. Because you creating the same type of situation that you have with Jalen Brunson up there in New York. That's just a lot of work.
But that's who Caitlin is.
Yes. Yeah.
That's who Caitlin is, bro.
And that's how she thrives.
Yes. And that's just like Jalen Brunson. That's who he is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with Jalen Brunson, you can't put him at the take him off the ball. That's
Once you take
that. I said, so we'll see, what she do with that situation as far as Caitlin. Or maybe at times, you gotta pace her though.
You don't pace her, you let her go.
Yeah.
That's who she is. She been doing this her whole life.
Yeah, but at that professional level,
she did it last year.
That's true. I'm just thinking that when you get deep into the playoffs and then you just so reliant on that, and then the defense make you do something different than you've been doing all season, then that's the risk you take.
But that's the thing. It's hard for defense to stop you from pushing pace. Yeah. It's hard. They was doing bad. They was pushing pace off made shots last year.
Yeah.
That's what you do. To me, you gotta let a person be who they are, and you build around that. To me.
Yeah. I mean,
because you're really going to struggle if you try to take her and tie one hand up and make her use the other. You really going to struggle. Like you trying to make her be something. You really going to struggle. Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to see then how she how the coach work this situation out, because I just don't want, what I mean, like by the time playoffs get here and people, if you tire and then people are allowed to play you physical, then that just make you, that just make it a whole lot harder for you to to be effective.
The only reason Indiana didn't win a playoff games last year because they couldn't get one at home. They almost beat that second game. Yes, it was physical, but they almost beat that second game playing the way they play. At some point, I get it, the physicality, but sometimes, man, you got to hope that your speed can outperform the physical. It's a matchup thing. You got to trust what you are. You can't keep trying to prevent stuff. You got to lean into who you are. I mean, in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. You got to be who you are.
Yeah. If the physicality becomes the thing, then they don't win it. Yeah. But I would put everything into that. I would let them be what they were. And unfortunately, they traded away their whole team. They got rid of everybody. It was only Lexi, Damaris, Aaliyah, Kelsey, and Kate. Only 5 players came back from a roster of 11.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I like Sophie Cunningham in that mix. She can run.
Yeah.
I like her in that mix. Yeah, so. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. The Liberty, they got the whistle right now. They got the favor. They got the WNBA favor. Yeah. They got it.
So
it's almost like the WNBA also is a UConn bias.
Well, yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's just a product of UConn being a factory.
I'm just saying it's a bias.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bias.
I don't know, but I mean, if the players that come out of UConn are good, and they not like. I think the players that come out of UConn and go to the WNBA have more success than the players that come out of Duke and go to the NBA. What y'all think about that?
Well,
I do. Go ahead.
You know, I think it's. I think
so
the difference between UConn and some of the other teams over time is a lot. That gap is a lot bigger than Duke and some of the other top tier men's teams, right? When you got that powerhouse, especially in the portal era, where people can, that UConn can get just about anybody they want, that they're going to just continue to be that powerhouse in the women's game. That's no one is going to knock UConn off the top spot in the women's game. They're always going to be in the mix. And in the men's game, the portal has almost the opposite effect. It gives other teams the ability to be towards the top quicker.
And going back before the portal, Mike, the NBA was not relying on Duke to fuel its league and to keep this league's popularity afloat and stuff like that. Not relying on Duke.
No, they not.
But the WNBA is heavily reliant on UConn. This is why when those players come into the W, they on teams that's loaded.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They come in. You had Sue Bird and Diane on the same team in Seattle winning titles, and you got loaded teams for those UConn players.
Yeah.
But in the NBA, they don't give a shit about Duke. They don't need Duke. Duke and players come in and play, but they don't need Duke.
Yeah.
The NBA don't. You know what I'm saying? So
wasn't Breonna Stewart, didn't she win a championship over there in Seattle too?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. So I'm saying they keep them loaded. Like, so that's what I mean by bias. I'm not saying these players aren't great. I'm saying they great. But now you got the greatness and a bias.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So poor Paige, she the first one to come out that's on a sucky team. But let's see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
You see if they don't get her somewhere with a loaded team. You watch.
Yeah. They might.
Let's
talk about these NBA playoffs, man. What y'all think about these playoffs?
Yeah, man.
Where do you want me to start, man? Because I've got all the smoke for Minnesota right now.
Go for it,
man. I was waiting for the first two games for Finch to come out and do something different on offense, and that third game gave me a sense of false hope. And all that happened was they got hot. They were hitting their shots, and I think OKC maybe took their foot off the gas a little bit in Game 3, but the last couple of games, man, it proved to me that Minnesota does not have a viable half-court offense. And I blame coaching.
Yeah.
Everything with Ant was off the dribble, trying to go to the basket. And that he's so talented, he can make that work sometimes, but not against the number one defensive team in the league.
Yeah.
Right? Everything and they did nothing off the ball. There were no off-ball screens. Just do some dribble handoffs, do something. And everything was 3 points or them trying to get to the basket off the dribble. And OKC's way too good of a defense for that to happen.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jim. Does their personnel dictate how they play?
I saw some good things in that second game when they were able to get some of those outside shots falling. They did get inside and make some good mid-level jumpers. They showed the skill set that they could do some of those things. But when things aren't working with the three-pointer, they just I don't know what it is. I mean, Corey said something to our group chat about that analysis that Minnesota, they just don't have a high basketball IQ. I think they do. I think it's just that they don't have the right offense.
I don't think they got the right offense either.
See, I think the coach is based on the personnel. So I think if you want to be frustrated, maybe with the GM and the player movement and what they had. Because sometimes, like I said, it goes back to the same thing. You can't make a person be something they not.
Yeah.
Well,
let me say this though. When you had Anthony Edwards, once he passed the ball and then he go down into the corner and he stand in that corner, he's not really putting up much effort. He waiting for the ball to come to him in the corner. You see great players, great shooters, Ray Allen. What's the other guy? Rip Hamilton, Steph Curry. Those guys move without the ball. If you're not putting up no resistance, if you go in the corner and you just stand down there and you wait for, then your man once somebody else drive and you in the corner, your man can just collapse into the middle and try to help out there. So I part of it is coaching. I don't think their offensive scheme, when you got your guy trying to on every play, he trying to score from out in the 3-point area and stuff like that. But I just don't think that Anthony Edwards put up too much. He could have did a lot better as far as like moving around on the court like that. You just can't stand in the corner and think that something gonna happen for you.
I think they've got some talented guys. And I think that they can. Alexander Walker has shown moments where he can move the ball well and get inside, and even as a decoy, right? Julius Randle, when he's on, he can be a force. I mean, Rudy has limited abilities. Rudy's going to be Rudy. He's not going to score you a lot, but he's going to do what he does down as a rim protector and as a cleanup guy. I think they've got some enough of the right pieces to win that Western Championship. They've been there two years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They can make it deep into the playoffs. I just what they showed me this year was up against. Yeah, I'll say this: they were up against a superior OKC team, but that half-court offense just was so rudimentary and so limited. It's like I know they can do better. I feel it in my heart that they can do better.
Yeah, I'm
gonna take you guys back a little bit. Remember how it used to go. You get close, then you get over the hump. Mm-hmm. So some of this could be, it's just not their time yet either. Yeah. Sometimes this helps build the team to get there and fall short, So it happened to all the teams. Detroit had to go through it. Bulls had to go through it. It happens. Right. Portland had to go through it. They couldn't get past the Lakers. Then they finally got there and stuff.
So what that means though is, Clayton, that means that Anthony Edwards is going to have to learn how to score in the half court. He's going to have to add something more to his game than just either a jump, the 3-pointer, or even going all the way to the rim. That's how the other guy, what's the guy named Shea? He keeps pressure on you because he shoot that mid-range, and then if they scoring almost every time down the court, and then you go down and you shoot a 3-pointer, you miss 2 or 3 3-pointers in a row, now you behind the 8 ball.
Well, I think what Minnesota needs is a point guard, because Anthony Edwards isn't a point guard.
Yeah,
and
that might be true.
And he does have a mid-range game. He has everything in his bag, but you got him playing point guard, and that's not who he is.
I'm gonna tell you this. Shea
is a point guard.
Shea is a point guard, and Shea got a mid-range game.
Yes.
All right.
Anthony Edwards has everything. He's not a point guard. He's not a point guard. He's not, because he's playing.
People. He told them, they said, why you shooting so many? He said, what do you think about people who say you shoot too many threes? And he said, F them.
Yes, and I agree with him. He should say F him. This is the thing, Mike. He's not playing his natural position. So he's going to be out of sorts as well, in a sense. So he's not a point guard. And until they get a point guard, that's what they need.
Yeah.
He's not a point guard.
Right.
Yeah.
But they got him playing one.
That don't excuse him for not moving without the ball. That don't excuse him for being too predictable on the offensive end. Like,
all I know is if you take a shooting guard and you move him to point, it's not comfortable. The game looks different. It's a whole different perspective to the game. But if you play in your natural position, you see the game through a different lens.
That's true. So they knew last year when they ain't make it, he wasn't a point guard.
He wasn't the point guard last year.
Either way, he didn't play. Do you think that he could have done better this? Do you think that all those threes was necessary? He played basically like James Harden.
I didn't think so.
It's in my opinion, as a super biased Minnesota fan, I didn't like the offense they were trying to run, and they kept going back to the same thing that wasn't working every game.
Mm-hmm.
And when it did work, it was because they got the outside stroke going early, and OKC did not look as intense on defense.
Yeah.
And then those 4 games they lost,
one
game they won, they tried the same thing over and over and over again. Nothing happened off the ball to not just Ant's perspective, but there was no off the ball. I didn't see a lot of off ball screens. It was just dribble drive or a 3-pointer, and that was it. And it frustrated the hell out of me.
Well, that's why I think that OKC Indiana would be that's going to be a good series, because you got 2 teams that both of these teams have mid-range games. New York even have a mid-range game because the guy, what's his name, Brunson even have a very good mid-range game. So now whoever you get in this next series, you're going to see a better.
Yeah,
it's going to be better, in my opinion.
Well, I'll just say this. Tyrese Halliburton, he has a lot of charisma.
Do he?
Yeah.
He has a lot of charisma. Yes.
I wasn't even a Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, he has a lot of charisma. Yeah.
But I like what I've seen out of him in these playoffs.
And I like how it just emerged. So they playing. And then he in moments, he do the Reggie Miller choke thing. He's got a lot of. See, this is what the sport needs: charisma.
Yeah,
and it's starting to show itself. But I still don't believe Shea and Oklahoma City is a great watch. They're a great team, but they're not a great watch.
Why you don't think they're a great watch?
They're not.
It depends on the matchup, in my opinion.
They're not a great watch.
I'm gonna tell you why I think that they are a great watch.
Okay.
I think because the fact that they have a strategy to that, like they bring more of the strategy back from like the old school way of playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You gotta play them all over the court because they utilize everything from the low post to the mid range to the 3-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that right there makes them a better watch than a team that is just either 3-pointer or dunk.
But that's what you prefer. That's what you like. It's a great watch for you.
I think it's overall, I think it's more appealing to everybody. Even I think that would be more appealing. I think you're going to see even like the ratings and stuff like that go up with these teams.
All right, watch.
Even Indiana play the same way.
Yeah,
but their star has something.
Yeah.
He has flair to him. It draws audience and captivates people. People like seeing that. Shea is a great player, but he doesn't have anything. Like, he's just smooth. Yeah. I'm just saying, I believe that the ratings aren't going to be that great in the finals with OKC in there. I don't think it will. Not unless New York find a way in, because any New York anything draws some ratings. You know, Madison Square Garden and all that. I don't think the ratings are going to be that high, Mike.
So you don't think that an Indiana OKC game would be good? I mean, ratings would be.
I don't. I don't think it's going to be that great. No.
Yeah.
But that's not to say it's not great basketball. This is just me looking through the prism of what the average person and the casual likes. They like stuff like that, you know. They don't understand strategy, Mike. They ain't look, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, because I'm thinking like, all right, from a casual fan standpoint, like if you see somebody coming down just jacking up a bunch of threes, and we have seen like the attendance go down, we've seen like ratings go down, and so now you got Indiana who played different, New York who played different than that, you got OKC who played different than that. So if that don't bring the casual fan, then nothing will. Like what is it going to take?
I see what you're saying, Clayton, and I kind of you've convinced me that the average fan, they don't get it yet. Mm-hmm. If OKC keeps doing this year after year, yeah, they're gonna build some hype around the style of play. To Mike's point, the style of play that they're playing, because I think, you know, except for when they're beating the crap out of Minnesota, I like watching that game.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Indiana too, though, Jim. I think Indiana.
Yeah.
I think their style of play, like I agree with Clayton. Like this year, people might not. I think it's going to build just like Golden State did. You know what I mean? Because Golden State is really, they consider a small market team. You know, but winning and their style of play just generated, like, people never really followed Golden State like they followed New York, Boston. Golden State was never really considered, even before they got Steph Curry.
But was it the winning, or was it the Splash Brothers? Was it the charisma? Was it the shimmy? Was it all that, the theatrics that they was doing? Steph Curry was doing, shooting it from the parking lot. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the winning to me personally.
I mean, to you, I'm just saying from a casual fan, Mike. You see it that way because you're a basketball purist. I'm just saying to you, people wasn't watching the Bulls because they had a great strategy in the triangle offense. They was watching the Bulls because of what Mike was going to do. The
same thing with Magic. Same thing with Magic. Same thing with Bird.
With Magic, the Showtime, the fantasy. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of people are falling in love with Tyrese Halliburton during this playoff run because of his charisma. So that will draw fans with Indiana. But I'm just saying, personally, they are a great team. They playing great basketball. And it looks like the NBA, instead of politicking something, they letting it play out. That's beautiful. But I'm just saying, the average person, they got to see some show, man.
Yeah, but I think these guys, I like Halliburton and I like Shea. I think these two young guys, I think they ushering in a new era. These two kids right here, they just ushering in a new era. And so
I think Ant-Man is too. I think Ant-Man is the funnest player to watch in the whole league.
But Ant-Man gonna have to add,
they just building his story, Mike. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that Ant-Man gonna have to it's a learning process. I think you're right. Like you get there, you fall short, you get there, you fall short, and eventually you get over the hump.
They build this story.
Part of getting over that hump too is learning from your mistakes.
And damn it, they need to get over that damn hump.
Yeah, I think Ant-Man going, you know what I mean, eventually get there.
Mike, listen, man. Mike got there. What he did? He been going to the playoffs every year. His first year, every year, right? But then he got to the semifinal round and got bumped. Then he got to the Eastern Conference Finals, got bumped. Then he got back to the Eastern Conference Finals, took Detroit to Game 7 and got bumped. Then he got back one more time and he got through. So a lot of that stuff is just building, man. You know, got to build them. That's it.
That's why I think with these new guys, Anthony Edwards, the kid Halliburton, then you got Shea. It's important for all these new young kids to stay. That builds up like that. That anticipation. That builds up like that fan base. Like, imagine what would happen if Anthony Edwards was to leave Minnesota. You know what I mean? If he was to leave and to go to another team because he's like, well, we can't win here, so I need to leave. Yeah, that is what will help to rebuild that NBA. Or if Halliburton was to leave Indiana, you know what I mean? So that's something that I think this new generation of these new kids, I think that's something that they probably going to do differently. If they're going to stick and they're going to grind it out, that's what's eventually going to bring the fans back. But I agree with you. I don't think the fans is going to catch on and come back in 1 year, especially for two small market teams.
Well, I don't know, man.
Unless it's New York.
I don't know. I'm telling you, man, Halliburton, don't underestimate how America's falling in love with this kid. He's got it all. He's got the look. He's clean cut. He's got the man. People falling in love with this kid.
Well, let me ask you this, then, because me and Jim spoke about this last week. If Indiana men, if the Pacers win a championship, how does that affect the Fever?
I don't think it. I don't think that it does. Do you guys think that it do?
Huh?
I don't think that it does.
Yeah. I think it does. I think it gives a little bit more hype to Indiana for sure, right?
The town itself, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So Indiana is definitely going to market. Indianapolis is gonna they're gonna ride that wave, right?
Right.
It's all about marketing at that point, right? If New York wins every championship across all four leagues, major leagues in men's, right? Does that help New York? Yeah, of course it does.
New York's already established. That just adds to New York's legacy. You got the Yankees. You got, they got that.
Yeah.
I don't know that. To me, I don't think it affects Indiana because even the Pacers winning the title, the hottest thing going is that girl Caitlin Clark.
That's my point.
And the fans are not letting her go. Like, they could care less if they don't win the title. They are showing up for that young lady.
But doesn't that turn up the heat a little bit though? That's what I'm saying. The temperature rises a little bit. It doesn't move the needle a lot, but if I'm excited and then something else happens adjacent to my excitement, that's going to get me even a little bit more excited.
I'll say this. To me, it doesn't turn up the pressure on them because the fans aren't coming to watch her win a championship. They're coming to watch her play. They coming to get autographs. They coming to get a piece of her. They ain't coming to watch someone. Yeah, the title was good and they like to see it, but they coming for her.
That's a good point.
I think
being part of the event, being part of history.
It's like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She ain't even playing, but yet they coming for get the autograph. They coming for her.
Yeah.
They could care less if she win a title.
I don't know.
I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell you.
I think they want to. I think that if the Pacers win, I think that the Pacers kind of overshadow the Fever if the Pacers win.
Nope.
Even if you look at it, I think even if you look at it from a financial standpoint, right? It's more merchandise that will be sold overall for a Pacers championship than it would be for a Fever championship.
I don't believe that it will.
And I'm gonna tell you why. The NBA, the men's NBA market is a lot larger than the Caitlin Clark fan base.
Well, I'm gonna say this to you. Merchandise won't be sold more because the main consumer in America is women.
No.
Yes, it is. That's why if you look at every commercial, Mike, yes, it is. Every commercial is geared toward women because women go to the grocery stores, women do all the shopping and spending the money. That's a fact. That's a financial fact.
Clay,
now,
when it comes to athletic apparel, it's men.
You're not letting me finish my point. So now they have a woman whose merchandise is out there. You got women buying, little girls, boys, everybody buying this girl's stuff because the housewife adores this girl. So they are buying up the merch. Listen, they just had a poll. You know what the top selling jersey was? She beat out NBA players.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, the men buy so much more. Go ahead, Jim.
I'm with Clayton on this.
Men buy a ton more athletic apparel. And watch in the tennis shoe sales, like when Caitlin come out with her shoe or whatever woman come out with a shoe.
Watch.
You don't see little boys wearing Asia Wilson shoes. You don't. Sabrina Ionescu got a shoe. You don't see that.
Watch.
But you see girls wearing Jordans. You see girls wearing LeBrons. You see girls wearing LeBron jerseys. You see girls wearing Jordan jerseys.
Okay. Sit back and watch. When they drop
I'm talking about history and what I see.
I know, but this is a paradigm shift in history. This is the first time we've ever had this. Watch when this girl's shoe drop. That's a Caitlin Clark shoe. You watch.
If I see little boys wearing like Caitlin Clark shoes to the extent that they will wear a LeBron shoe, then I change my mind. But for right now, I think that if the Pacers win a championship,
okay,
you know, like that's the cash cow. The NBA is the cash cow. You talking about a league that's a cash cow, comparing them to a league that is being subsidized.
No, I'm not. The subsidized and the cash cow has no point to what we talking about right now. The popularity. And I'm telling you, this girl's popularity usurps the Indiana Pacers. I'm telling you that.
I don't.
Okay.
And another way I think her popularity will not. Another way I think that her popularity will not usurp the NBA is because I mean it's just so much money involved. It's like her base is not.
Bro,
now I can see if she was Taylor Swift.
But she damn near is. She damn near is. Hey. She's not on that level yet, but she damn near is. Mike, her games are outrating NBA games.
That's because NBA ratings have fell 50%, almost 50%.
But that's all we're talking about. We're talking about her popularity compared to the NBA's. Her popularity has usurped the NBA's popularity.
All right, look at this. If the Pacers win a championship with the style of play that these guys and they bring back the fan base that the NBA is used to having, it ain't no competing with that.
You saying if when Caitlin already has.
Well, but still she's still not on their level. She also is benefiting from the fall off in the NBA.
Listen, I ain't saying she benefiting from nothing. I'm just saying to you, her popularity is what it is. And it is usurped the NBA's popularity. That's just what it is, Mike. It's not about championships, who win, style of play. They adore this girl. They adore her. You can't explain it. Sometimes we just can't explain it. It's just a phenomenon.
All right, so this is what the chat says. All right, women have purchasing power as a consumer, but guess what? It's men who mostly support the WNBA, create content on YouTube. Men view sports with more intensity and seriousness. Seriously. And I agree with that. You know, I agree with that.
But guess what the men are not doing? The men are not moving the casual. Caitlin is moving grandmothers, grandfathers, wives, husbands, kids, boy. She's moving everything. It's a difference.
Yeah, I gotta see this play out.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And that's all I'm saying. Listen, it is what it is. I mean, they adore her.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she. I agree. Everybody adore her. You know what I mean? Like everybody who like basketball like Caitlin Clark.
But even people that don't like basketball, they adore her.
Yeah.
Yes, they watching her. They adore her. Shit, you got Taylor Swift talking about coming to a basketball game because of her.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. She doing that show. What's that Dude Perfect shit? She doing that shit everywhere, man. I understand your point, Mike. I agree with you from a basketball perspective. But this is what we ain't taking into account. The average person that don't even vibe with basketball, vibing with her.
There's an X factor you can't quantify or explain.
Yeah.
So is that a market? Like, is that sustainable though? Is that a market though that you think that's sustainable?
It's sustainable as long as she playing.
I mean,
even when Michael Jordan left, the NBA had drop off. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna make that same point.
Yeah.
Whatever, Mike was great, but whatever he had it too.
Yeah.
Everyone loved him.
Yep.
When he played.
Yep. They loved him.
Yeah.
And when he left, it was drop off.
Yeah.
That's the game. That's the name of the game. You can't prevent that.
Yeah, that's true. But I just think that the Pacers, and like what I told when you got one league that's Broadway, then you got another league that's off Broadway. And so when Broadway is not is not doing well, and off Broadway, naturally off Broadway picks up.
That's a great analogy. The WNBA is off Broadway, but Caitlin ain't. Caitlin's not.
Yeah, he just so happened to be playing off Broadway. She may not be off Broadway, but she's
not. She's not. They moving her games to Broadway. The big arenas and shit. They taking a loss now because she hurt. Shit. Come on, man. That's all I'm saying. Listen, however way, I'm not saying she the best player. None of that. It's nothing about that. It's just about this girl has a charm, has an electricity, has this infectious energy that people adore. That's all it is. She ain't the best player, and she don't have to win a championship.
You don't think she need to win a championship?
She wants to win a championship for herself. I'm saying she don't need to win a championship for the fandom.
For that base.
Not for the fandom. Not at all.
Yeah. So,
I agree. Her game is more like Steph. You're right. But what Mike is saying is the impact, not the game.
Right. Yeah, I think her impact, and that's what like when I saw that post, somebody post that she's the Jordan of the league. I didn't take their post as like she was dominant like Mike or anything, but her impact to the WNBA is what Mike's impact was to to the NBA.
Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
So you got a Brazil national team. They're in another country. These girls lined up to take pictures with her, have her sign their jersey, coach stopping in the middle of the game, talking to her about how she changed the game. That's some dream team shit, but they only did it to her.
That's true.
People adore this girl. Yeah.
She is more like Steph.
Yeah, she is more like Steph. Like, I think she a combination of Steph and one of them savvy point guards that assists real good, see the court real well. She like a combination. You know what I mean? Like a Jason Kidd, Steph Curry, Steve Nash's, John Stockton-ish, but with Steph range and shoot. Yeah. Yeah. But nah, man. Halliburton, though, I like him.
I like Halliburton
I
too.
like him.
So what's going to happen tonight? What's going to happen tonight?
What's tonight?
Indiana get him out of there.
You think Indiana get him out of there?
I think they get him out of there.
Yeah.
Think they get him out of there?
I think that's probably what Vegas says is going to happen.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised in the least if
New York won.
New York, they've got momentum. Cat's playing great. That team feels like they're coming up off the mat. And if they come in and they play hard and they get it down to the end, I think they got a chance to bring it back home for a game 7. And I think that would be amazing.
I think this will be the game. If any of the games Indiana get a little tight, it could be. It could be this one. I'm not saying it will be. It could be.
Yeah. Yep.
I do think that the pressure is on Indiana because Indiana don't want to go to New York.
You want to go back there.
That's if you Indiana, you don't want to go there.
And I said it, Mike. New York is a good road team.
Yeah.
Last week, New York is a good road team.
Yeah, they've won several games on the road. Now, what did they find? I didn't see the last game. What did they do to slow Halliburton down last? Because he didn't get many shot attempts.
They slowed the game down enough to where it was not a super back and forth, full court game. And I was trying to think of who was the primary on Halliburton on defense. I think they in general, my impression of the game was they locked everybody down, right? And it was if they're gonna let one guy beat them, right? That they were. It's like let the defense be tight on everybody and see what happens. And he didn't go off. I mean,
not at all.
They got the bench and they got the length, but New York, just the intensity was high.
How many shot attempts did he get?
He didn't get that. That's the thing. He didn't get a lot of shot attempts.
8.
What happened was once Halliburton give that ball up, they also make sure that he don't get that ball back. So that right there limits his shot attempts. He didn't have that movement, that free movement to go back and forth like he did in earlier games. So he gave the ball up and he didn't get it back. So I'm assuming that their coach, when we talking about Carlisle, ain't Carlisle, right?
He's a good coach.
Good coach Carlisle. I think Carlisle is he going to counter that this game, whereas though, I like
what do you think he should do though?
They're gonna run him more off picks and stuff. So when Halliburton give the ball up, he's gonna run off some picks and stuff like that. And then if you fight over the pick to follow him, they're gonna try to create some mismatches off of that. And then Halliburton is going to be able to, depending on what the mismatch is, he's gonna be able to exploit that mismatch. So that's what. So yeah,
I like that one shot he did. He drove the lane. He went up and he hung in the air, took the contact, hung in the air, and then right over the front of the. I said, this boy got some charisma, man. This boy got some flair, man. I'm serious. He really do. I like him, man. I like this motherfucker said, yo, and his foot was only about this far off the line, boy. He was like. But he don't have no fear. He puts that thing up, boy. He puts that thing up in the clutch.
Yeah, I like Halliburton too.
Yeah, the question becomes: was it Indiana lacking or New York's defense, and did they find something that they can build on?
New York's offense was clicking.
Yeah,
and the defense looked tough. I mean those inside guys were having a field day. Cat and who's that big guy? Robinson.
Okay.
They were being very effective, efficient, and And yep.
Okay.
And Brunson was being Brunson.
Okay.
How do you? Brunson being Brunson. But how do y'all feel about Cat in a big game? Like, do y'all trust his judgment, like in a game 6 or these type of games?
He just the last several games, he is just in a zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in a groove, and if he's able to come out and stay in that groove, and the defense can keep that intensity up, I think they got a good chance of getting another one on the road. But I think the possibilities are tighter for New York to steal that game. If they steal that game, I think it's what Clayton put his finger on. It's Indiana playing too tight.
Too tight. Yeah. And I don't think Cat. I think the main person they rely on in terms of the decision making is Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Cat play. I think Cat playing well. I mean, you're gonna have your ups and downs, but you got a big that can stretch the floor and he can shoot the three. Say what you want, he can shoot it. Yeah. Hold up for a second.
Yeah. I think that
and he's
sometimes
his shooting's been real good the last couple of games.
Oh yeah, he can score. He's shooting. I just think that sometimes his decision making, though, Cat decision making, man, just. And I hope, for New York's sake, I hope that he don't, in a crucial situation, just pick up a foul that he shouldn't pick up.
And he did that. He did that a couple nights ago. He ended up with 4 fouls in the first half, and he had to play different the second half. And they talked to him about that. And yeah, he's got to know the situation a little bit better.
Yeah. You're right. His situational basketball sometimes just kind of really just and I don't know why he's an experienced ball player who's been in the league long enough to know how to avoid certain fouls and stuff like that. Then when you look into the refs to bail you out, because I think really he could have fouled out of that, you know what I mean, like a couple of those games.
I'm
looking for a good game though, basically between these two teams. I still think the Pacers is going to pull it out though. Because I just like Rick Carlisle, and then I like Halliburton. Yeah. I just then you got Siakam. He got championship type experience. He
had a big night the other night. I seen his points. What he scored 30 something.
Yeah, one of those games he did go for 30.
Yeah, he went for 37 or something like that. Yeah.
So
he been there, done that. Yep.
Yeah. So Pascal Siakam. And Pascal also said something that I thought was good. He was like, he don't let his team get too high, like with celebrating and stuff like that. So I think for him to be there with Halliburton and Halliburton doing everything that he do, you know what I mean? He'll kind of balance that out for them, So I like that about Siakam.
Look for New York to try to mute and slow down Nesmith and Siakam. I think that's what they're gonna have to try to do.
I think you gotta cut the head of the snake, man.
You do?
Whatever you did to Halliburton last game, you gotta try to do it again this game. I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad strategy. It's just that I think that Rick Carlisle is going to try to counter.
I'm gonna have something else.
But you gotta try to. If it worked, you can't go away from it.
New York's intensity is gonna be. It's got to be high.
It's going to be.
They gotta have the intensity.
Yeah. Hey, Dexter. I think Caitlin Clark is better, have a larger impact than Trae Young.
Man, that's funny.
Me laugh.
Trae Young can't pass that basketball like that girl.
He don't want to pass that ball either.
He don't want to pass it. He don't have that IQ or that court vision like that girl.
Yeah,
but that's cute though. I like that.
Yeah, man, I had to put that up there because I just think Caitlin Clark, her basketball IQ, I think to me is higher than Trae Young. Trae Young can shoot, but that's like where the comparison ends at,
Yeah.
Between those,
and I don't even know if Trae can put up 36 footers either.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. She hit a 30-something footer. You know, it was dope how she came out of slump. She was like 0 for 12 and 3.
Yeah.
And then she come down, hit the 1, but then right before the corner ended, that was like 33 feet.
Yeah.
I said, man, see, people like that, Mike, they get up out their seat. That's what they do. They go to the game just to see a large ball.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, that was funny, though, Trae Young. Trae Young, I like Trae Young. I like him, though.
Yeah, I like Trae Young, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did.
So, yeah.
He came out of Texas, didn't he? Or was it Oklahoma?
I think it was Oklahoma.
Yeah. It was Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's been fun, man. My mama called me while we was on here, so I gotta tap in with Mom Dukes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man. What happened to Tunk, man?
I don't know, man. He ain't work. I don't think he worked today.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't heard from him though.
I said something to him on Facebook. I said, I'm waiting to see you back on the Saturday joint, man. Where you know.
Yeah.
He didn't reply to it though, but
yeah. Let me see. What did they say? Brian says, "Do you think CC hated by the W players?
White players.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about it. Let me see. Do you think is hated by the white players when Ryan Howard tried to fight CC a few weeks ago? Is she hated by the white players?
No, I think the W players, James. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, by the W players. Let me see.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I wonder where that rage come from. I don't see that with other W players. I just think some of it is like competitive. Let me know what y'all think. I think when you got a player coming in with as much hype and attention as somebody like Caitlin Clark, I just think that people just want to challenge her. Especially if like you already been in the league, you think like, you put your work in and then somebody else. It's just like when you get to a job, you know what I mean? Then somebody come to the job and they get more money than you, you kind of resentful of that. You know what I mean? Or they get position that you think you earned. Yeah, I don't know about hate. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's some jealousy involved with some players.
Yeah.
I think there's jealousy involved with some players.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw hate out there. That's a hard word. It's impossible to know what's in somebody's heart until it really shows itself. But I just think some resentment maybe, but the competitiveness is dope. Like they challenging and going after it. I get that part. Mm-hmm. But when this person talking about trying to fight her, that's a whole nother thing. So I don't, I don't know.
Yeah. I like Ryan Howard too. She's a pretty good, especially her defense. She's a really good defensive player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't appreciate people trying to say that the other girl, Bryant meant the WNBA. Yeah. But I just didn't think that like what's the girl name? Angel Reese. I don't think, I wouldn't say what she is hate. I just think that she don't like, they may have some dislike for each other, but I just, I don't know.
She definitely resents her.
Yeah.
You can see that plain as day. Like I said, I would never say hate because you don't know what's in their heart. But
why would you say resent her though? Like she not even like, she not standing in the way of nothing that you can, like if you go out there and you play ball, that would be like Magic or Bird, them hating each other. You know what I mean? Like Bird's success all Bird had to do was beat Magic, and all Magic had to do was beat Bird. Like when you try to hate somebody.
I'll say this. Bird and Magic hated losing to the other.
Yeah. And I can get that.
And if you're on the wrong side of that equation, you're gonna resent losing to that other and resent the success the other has against you.
Yeah.
But I think she resents her fame and her fanfare.
Yeah.
Yep. I really do.
I think, and part of that is Caitlin she's not motivated by the fanfare or the media. She understands it comes along with it and she knows how to navigate it. But I think Angel Reese, she's motivated and is seeking those things.
He's seeking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that too, Mike, is because one of her first press conferences in the league is, I want y'all to understand the reason y'all watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. That statement, if you frame that statement, that seems like a person that's seeking some kind of accolade and seeking some kind of validation and fame and wanting to be viewed and have fanfare and all that. And I think the fact that Caitlin has it, I think it does bother Angel.
Yeah.
I think it bothers a lot of them.
Yeah.
To Brian's point.
And I'm gonna tell y'all another thing. I think it even bothers her coach, Stephanie White.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard her make statements, and I've analyzed those statements. It bothers her too.
That's not good. That's not good.
It bothers her too.
So you think that Caitlin Clark, all right, so Brian, do you think she talked too much trash on the court?
I ain't never been court. I don't know. I ain't been on court side. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that Larry Bird talked a lot of trash, but
he did. Yeah.
He won. You know what I mean? What can you
do? Yeah. But it got revealed to us. We started hearing clips and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if Caitlin out there talking trash. And I know she talk a lot of trash to the referees. You can see that.
I remember one game in college, though, Caitlin Clark was talking to the referees and her father was in the stands yelling, just play. Just play basketball.
He yelled at him, shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
He said, shut up.
So I thought that was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was when everyone started looking at her. She had eyes on her.
Yeah.
I remember that game.
So, and you can appreciate, like, when you are a basketball player of that stature, and then you got somebody who can pull your coat and be like, hey, get it together.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think that both of these young ladies need in their corner. Somebody to let them know that, just to advise them.
See, I think Caitlin got that. I just think Angel needs more of that. But listen, and a lot of people think she talked trash because she did this, but even Haley Van Lith saying she didn't do that to her.
Yeah.
That's been revealed already. That was something between her and her physical trainer that she would do, but they thought she was doing it at a player. So I don't know if she really talked trash. I'm sure she feisty. I'm sure she gives it back to you.
Yes, she does.
But I don't know. But
I was just gonna say she can get salty because she's competitive.
Yeah, she's competitive. Yeah, so she's gonna give it back.
She won't back down.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Like I said, I just think Angel, for whatever reason, she really resents that fame that girl has, and she's really seeking it.
Yeah.
But the other night, she surrendered. She stopped trying to keep putting up the shot after the rebound. She was kicking it out to an open player. She had a much better game. Less shot attempt.
Yeah. Hey, I want to say this because Adalcio just put that comment in there. I was at that game too, Adalcio.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun game in Chicago.
And what is he saying about it?
Oh, he said he went to the Barbie night in Chicago last August when Indiana played Sky.
Yeah.
That was Labor. That was kind of down next to Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, and I was Brendan and I were at the game. Yeah, CC dropped 31 and 12, and the Fever won by 20. It was a ton of Fever fans. We were both wearing our Caitlin jerseys, and that was.
And I see what he said. I saw that too. So all the pink Barbie things.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fans was coming up and having Caitlin sign.
Kind of, Shaq was there. Yep. Shaq was.
Oh man!
After the game, Caitlin Clark was signing those. Okay.
Yeah, they gave out little.
Yeah. So see that right there? That just twists the knife more, Mike. You know?
Yeah.
Come on. And twist the knife more.
I mean, but the fans are just there for some of the fans just there, you know, just to enjoy the game, see a good game, see a good performance. So
I agree. I'm just saying, on a person like Angel, there's definitely some self-esteem stuff there with her. Yeah. As great as she is and as beautiful as she is, there's some self-esteem issues there.
I'll say this. There's an opportunity for Angel to have a great comeback story. There's an opportunity. What she's going to have to do is be able to embrace the situation she's in and listen to a few different mentors. And I think she's got the opportunity to have a great comeback story.
Well, she's got the opportunity. But I heard Jason Whitlock say something. And I'm not a fan of his, but I'm not a fan either. I'm neutral. And he said that he believed that she was going to be asking out of Chicago soon. So 2 days ago, a report came out. And the report says she had a meeting with Chicago's front office. Yeah. And the inside source told the reporter that, like, that kind of conversation is coming up. And he said this before that meeting. Yeah. So here's the deal. I'm not sure if that doesn't wind up playing itself out in her story.
That puts her further away from redemption than closer to it.
Well, all right, so is it a good move for her to want to go somewhere else rather than just to face this situation and better herself? I think she should just stay in Chicago. Once you start moving around from team to team, I don't know if that's, if that's going to, I mean, the issue is not, I mean, it's wherever you go, there you are.
Well, here's you're right, Mike. And here's the deal. She can't see herself.
Yeah, that's why we, like, and we're in two different situations where somebody, somebody from the stands who you love and trust can tell you to shut up and play ball. You know what I mean? Whereas though somebody who else in your corner might just be enabling your nonsense, or don't even want to tell you the truth. Like, look, this is not the way to play that situation.
And I'm going to say this, fam. One of the hardest things to do for human beings is to see themselves accurately and for who they really are. I don't care if you got a mentor and you got a good team around you. The hardest thing for a human being to do is to see himself. It's extremely hard. It takes extreme surrender and it takes extreme acceptance for the truth.
And it is life-changing.
It is life-changing. It's very
life-changing.
Yes.
That's why you need people who are not yes men around you, though. Because,
that can help, but here's the deal, Mike.
We all, to a certain extent, can't see ourselves. Some people more extreme than others. Like, I have people in my life who I trust, you know what I mean? Like, and you trust Ray, and you know what I mean? You might have some other people in your life who you trust. But even with that being said, you still gotta have somebody else in your life who you trust, because we all have that to a certain extent.
Well, yeah, but the people around me didn't create this self-awareness or self-revelation or self-realization. Nobody around you can create that for you. They can't, Mike.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But I understand what you're saying, like the camps and all that is one thing, but
because like in communications, you learn that like there's like the known self and the unknown self. And so we basing our movements and our decisions on the known self. But then when we come to the unknown self, then we have to trust people who see us in a way that we don't see ourselves. And we got to trust their judgment to a certain extent, because we don't have all the answers. Everything can't come from you.
It comes from the internal. It does. You have to trust the internal. People are running away from the internal. They're living through a mask. I'm telling you, because people on the outside are projecting themselves onto you. You have to trust it comes from the internal.
That can be part of, that can be a pitfall from that situation. Like when you that can be a pitfall of that, right? That can be the downfall of trusting somebody from the outside. But remember, we're social creatures by nature anyway, so we need each other. So sometimes when you trust people, that can be you know what I mean? It might not end up the way you want it, but we can't run away from that though. We have to have a certain amount of trust for somebody in our life. Everybody needs somebody.
Well, from my experience, I just know self-realization is a solo journey.
It is. I'm with you on that, Clayton.
It's all of it. It's all of it. For me, it's no. That's the only thing I see and come to know. I mean, it's a solo journey.
Yes, I'm 100% with you on that, Clayton.
We cannot accomplish anything substantial by us. No one person can do nothing substantial in their life by themselves.
Self-realization, you can. You can't go out and build something or do that, but self-realization is a sense of an awareness that comes totally through self.
Yeah.
No one can get you there. No one can.
Yeah.
Only God.
How do you pronounce that, Adonis? Thanks, Adonis. We appreciate it.
Adulcio.
Adulcio. Oh, all right. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, thanks, Adulcio. We appreciate it. He said, gotta run. Nice stream. Last question. Where do you all live? And what's the closest we're in Baltimore, me and Clayton, and the Mystics are close to us.
Yeah.
And I'm in Kansas. Grew up in Minnesota, so I love the Lynx. I love all the Minnesota professional teams. As these guys are tired of me hearing me say. But yeah, we've going to a Lynx game this August against the Fever.
Yeah. I had the opportunity this week to go to the Mystics and the Fever, but Caitlin was hurt, right? So I was like, nah, I'm gonna go home.
Man, G-Day had us on the floor.
You went to the game?
No, she got hurt. She got hurt. Yeah, no, yes. He came through. He came back from Florida, and he said, I got you. But then she got hurt, and I'm glad he didn't buy. You know what I'm saying? Because he had it. He was going to treat me for my birthday. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Robert Walker says that the media hates the fact that CC fan base is more diverse than Angels, right? And so I agree that her fan base is more diverse because you got people like diehard basketball fans. Then you got her fans in there. You know, I don't know, like she more so Angel Reese fan base more so.
Strong black women, man.
Yeah.
Call it for what it is. All these black women. That's her fan base.
Yeah, the media.
And they enable her. Unfortunately. Did you guys see real quick? What's my man? Kenyon Martin.
Oh, yeah. I made a video about that.
The angry black woman. And he said his mother was in the hospital giving these people a hard time. He even had to say his mother, like, Mom, these people got their life in your hands. It's like, at some point, you got to turn that off. Like, these people are taking care of you, and you still giving them a hard time. Yeah. He was saying that's that angry black man. I thought that was powerful. What he said to that was powerful. And I understand the condition, but at some point, they have to be able to heal. You're going to have to let your guard down and trust. It's no way around it. You can't heal without trusting. And they don't want to trust anything. Everything that comes from another ethnic group, white, whatever, it's an attack it. Yeah. And you'll never heal that way. You'll never get beyond that.
And you set yourself up for failure because you're working against yourself. And well, what I do want to say though about Cheryl Swoops in that situation, she did listen to Kenyon Martin, you know, because I mean it only made sense. You know, how can you be giving these people a hard way to go when these people have your life in their hands? That's like going to a restaurant and talking shit to somebody who's making your food.
It's making your food.
I'm not eating that. You know, I've been in that situation. I was like, I'm not eating that. You gonna sit here and treat these people rude, and talk shit to these people? I'm like, nah.
Yeah. That was powerful.
It don't make no sense.
And I'm gonna say this: the church is real big in the Black community, and Black women, they love the church. They go to the church, gravitate to the church. They want to study Bible and read scripture. But even in scripture, it talks about when you in another man's house, you respect his rules, right? So with this being said, now you have people formulating a league, right? And this is an institution and it's their league, right? And then you come into their league and you constantly putting demands on someone as if they owe you something. You understand what I'm saying? And at some point, you got to be grateful for the marriage between your talent and that league that's been created, and have a better relationship with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you constantly keep telling somebody else that owns something, that makes the rules for something, that they need to do this, that, and the other for you. That's like somebody coming into your house telling you how you need to treat them.
Yeah.
And to me, it's tiresome. You know, it's called that victim's mentality.
Yeah, or entitlement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, don't nobody, I mean,
yeah.
Yep.
So, I agree with you 100%.
Oh, that's you, Jim?
Yeah.
That's Jim.
I switched up the username.
Yeah, Viking Jim. Kind of caught me off guard too. I seen the picture.
Well, when you see Viking Jim, I get a whole image in my mind, man.
Yeah.
I get the image of a Viking, you know, like.
There's two reasons.
This is be football time.
There's two reasons.
No, I mean a Viking. Go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead, Jim.
No, there's two reasons I'm Viking Jim. One, Minnesota, obviously.
Yeah.
Two, my grandmother was actually Norwegian, and I can.
That's it.
And I can speak Norwegian.
That part.
All
that's
right.
what I picture. A Viking, like a real Viking. Like that's crazy. So now it's nice to know you are that. Okay. Yeah. Man. Interesting, man. Well.
All right, fellas. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate everybody who was in the chat. You know what I mean? Participating and tuning in. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. You know what I mean? And like and subscribe. Yeah, man. Leave some comments too. You know, what time we'll be on tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get to talk about that game tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
What time do they play?
Oh crap.
I'm not sure.
Is it 8 o'clock?
I'm thinking at 8.
It's gotta be 8 Eastern.
Yeah.
All right, I'm seeing if I can watch it. But yeah, man, y'all have a good day the rest of the day, man.
Yeah, you too.
All right, Mike.
Y'all take it easy.
All right.
Appreciate it,
Yep.
All right.